Welcome, kings and queens, to another episode of Unapologetic, your number one podcast. This is the show where kings and queens tell their legacies and on. So get ready for the gems to drop and pull up to the table because we're ready.
Is this off the clock type of meeting?
Well, with the concept for sip coffee and cocktail, and this, one of which is starting to, you're starting to see more and more of these kind of hybrid. Is for us, we can service your beverage needs all day long. Whether you are looking to have coffee, tea in the morning, to if you're transitioning to an evening where you can have wine, handcrafted cocktails, and beer. And so we service all of your beverage needs throughout the entire day. And we also have a non-alcoholic menu because we see a lot of people that are not partaking in or drinking, alcohol less and less. So we have a really robust spirit-free cocktail menu that's a part of our establishment. So that's one of the reasons why we invested, into, this business is because of a potential. Most coffee bars are only open until 3, 4
I was about to say
p.m.
4:30, if the most that I've seen.
Yeah. But then, so from 4 until the next morning, you're not operating. There's no revenue at all. So for us, when the concept was brought to us, we were just like, no, we like that because you have you're paying utilities throughout the entire day. There is no like you only pay for like 5 hours or hours of operation. So for us to be able to maximize revenue, this was a concept that allow us to be open as early as 7 a.m. and close as late as 11 p.m. or midnight on certain nights. And so we're open the majority of the day. And so it's a great business. It's a great concept. We've really been enjoying the business. The community really loves it because we also knew that area that we opened our business needed a coffee shop, and it also needed a cocktail bar. So that was kind of what was missing in the area. And so we brought that, in one concept to the area. And so a lot of times people have to look for the right opportunity and the right location. So people spend too much time focused on the idea. The ideas don't mean shit. It really comes down to implementation and execution. Like when I'm out, when I'm out having a drink, people are I come up to me 10 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., and they're just shooting a bunch of ideas at me. I'm like, yeah, that's great. But all right, cool. Are you the person to even actualize these ideas? Because sometimes we're not even in position to actualize our ideas. And that's why some people don't even share their ideas, which I always tell people, no, you got to let that live. Like, so a fire can't grow in a closed container. The fire needs air, it needs oxygen in order to be able to grow into a massive fire. Right. So you sharing your idea, you don't know who in the right time, almost like Red off of 5 Heartbeats, my office hours, but at the right time, you sharing an idea with me, I might be able to like, oh, you should go talk to Mel over here. You should go talk to Sarah or, whoever over there. That's a connection. But if you just hold that in, you're never going to get that because people have this unrealistic fear of people stealing your idea.
That's what it is. And blowing up.
I tell people, and I tell people all the time, don't you know that for me at least, I'm too busy to look at something that you have and be just like, you know what? I'm going to stop all of my 7 businesses to take your idea that you don't have relationships, you don't have a physical location, you don't have a lot of the things to make it a successful business. I'm going to stop what I'm doing, take that, and then invest all of this time, energy, and effort in just an idea I heard. It's not a plan that you gave me. It's not relationships that you connected me with. It's just say, hey, what if ice cream stayed cold even when it's been left out 8 hours? I'm not a scientist. What can I do with that? So people got to get over this unrealistic fear of sharing your ideas because you're limiting the number of people and you may run across the right person that can help you. So you just got to get over that. I don't care the one horror story of somebody taking that idea because I tell people all the time, that person who steals your idea can only take it to the length and the furthest you told them your idea. If you only gave them what year 1 through 4 looks like, when they get to year 5, they don't know what to do because it wasn't their vision. It wasn't their idea.
Exactly.
They can't
Yeah.
take it any further than what you gave them. So they're going to fail. So you can still launch that same idea because when you both get to year 4, you're going to keep going. Whereas that person has to stop and try and figure it out because it's your idea. You're the only one that God gave it to that you can see the beginning and the end of. The other person, you just shared part of the journey. So people got to get over their fear of sharing their ideas. People got to get over their fear of also looking for partnerships. Not everyone has to have their name. So a lot of the businesses that I'm associated with, a lot of people don't give me recognition or top billing in those businesses, and I'm 100% fine with that because I don't want to necessarily be the one that you always look into, like, oh,
Oh
this is his,
man.
that. Like, me, I like to be in stealth mode sometimes. I just like to do
Right.
things and have things, without having to be on the forefront just because of it's a different level of responsibility being the front person,
Oh yeah, because
in
you
some
remember the
businesses
front person takes the first hit.
takes the first hit, but also they're also the one that's requested and demanded the most on
Oh
from
yeah.
that standpoint. And so,
Oh
like,
yeah.
sometimes I just want to be in my office doing the work and not having to field some of those first person calls or first person
I agree.
emails. Like, let me be in the kitchen. Let me just cook. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Heck
not the
yeah,
one.
bro.
Yeah, let me just cook. From that standpoint. So like people got to really get over that. It's too many of us trying to run businesses by ourselves. When no, if you see 5 people that have, and I'm gonna go back to our very first conversation we did in the vault. If you got 5 people that are selling cookies, like, why would y'all individually just continue that instead of figuring out how y'all can bring all of these together
And make
and
a
be able to
bigger
make a bigger company? Like, why are
man.
you gonna sell 10 and this person sells 20 and this person sell? Come together and figure out how y'all can sell 5,000 cookies. By
Exactly.
leveraging the cash that you're already putting in, the different relationships that you already have. Leverage all of that and come together, but use real paperwork. Get a lawyer, create operating agreements, create MOUs, spell everything out because then everybody has to operate based off of that paperwork. It's too many of us, especially from our community, that keep trying to go at it alone, and
Yep.
we are always going to be small. We have to scale our businesses. It's not enough to just start a business just for the cred and the cool points of starting a business. Be in business to be in business. The shit's serious, so be serious about
You made a great point. Um, don't keep that within because that and I've a witness to it for myself. I've done it too. I think it kind of stricts your blessings when you're
it.
trying to keep it to yourself when really you can't do it all by yourself, man. I would have went crazy, y'all. And I know y'all getting tired of me saying it every other episode, but I say it because it's the truth. I would have went crazy trying to start a media business by myself. It'd be nowhere in hell. Lasted going on 5 years doing this by myself. So that right there, I feel like, bro, you put it in a straightforward manner where the world now in the day is, I'm just being 100. Y'all sensitive is then I don't know what. You can't say this. I can't be straightforward to you because of your feelings or whatever you may proceed me as to be. And really, I don't care. I'm with my brother on this. I don't give a F. You know what I mean? It is what it is because we have to grow with each other. So I
Oh yeah,
wholeheartedly.
people don't like accountability. They don't like feedback for real. Everybody likes to be strong and wrong, from that standpoint. Yeah, so we definitely live in more of a PC culture, politically correct culture.
Yeah.
That doesn't allow for us to grow. So if I can't tell you, like for Mel, like for you, if I'd be like, oh bro, you know what? If you did this with the podcast, I think that would be dope. That's not me saying I know more than you in podcasting. It's just an observation that I had that could or could not be beneficial.
That's
That's
it.
all it is. It's
Yeah.
not me saying I know more than you. It's not me saying I'm an expert in that. But if I did have a podcast and I had X number of subscribers, then I gave you a piece of information or advice, that's free game that I
Exactly.
gave you. So if I don't have that expertise, but it's just an observation, because at the end of the day, with any business, I'm your customer. I'm the person who is going to either be subscribing, listening in. So if I have a feedback session, you should want to listen and get feedback from your customers. You don't take that one point of feedback as the end all be all. You want to get multiple points of feedback to improve. So people
Exactly.
don't like the process of self-improvement or improving via others' observation and feedback, because people are sensitive. I forgot who said this, but like, hey, be careful. I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit. Everybody is sensitive about their shit,
Man.
but like, you got to be willing to take that input and that feedback. People give me feedback and observations on things all the time.
Right.
As a business owner and an entrepreneur, in your quiet time should be a portion of that should be self-reflection.
Hmm.
Like, are you self-reflecting? Was it last week where somebody told you something about you or something about your business that either they wasn't aware of, didn't like, or whatever the case?
Right.
Did you actually filter that, or did you just like in one out the other, or did you actually sit with that to kind of see if some of it is, helpful?
Right.
Because the person who knows the least about your business might be able to offer you an insight you never considered. So you got to
Ooh.
be receptive to that, because they're looking at it from a different vantage point. You're so tunnel vision on what you're doing, you don't you don't see other aspects of what you could be seeing, and so that means you're missing on something. You don't
Oh yeah.
have 360-degree vision to be able to see everything all at once. So people who are willing to give you feedback, um, some of it is going to be BS.
Mm.
Some of it is going to be disguised as hate, but some of it is actually genuine, just like, hey, I think if you actually, did this or did that, I think that would help. And this is a person who took the time to even tune into what you're doing or purchase your
Right.
product or checked out your product or website. You didn't have to pay them, and they
Yep.
offered you free feedback on something. Man, that's invaluable.
Yeah.
Like, shit, help me see what I don't see. Help me see my blind spots. They're
Some
my
I
blind
don't
spots
care
for a
what it
reason.
is. It could be a
Yeah.
scratch. Let me point to it so I can know where this,
Yeah.
I get that, bro.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
so people are too sensitive about this shit. We live in a PC culture. Nobody's going to grow from that standpoint, because if you feel like your first thing that you roll out is the one, the most perfect thing, you're mistaken. Or if that was the case, we wouldn't be on the iPhone 16 right now. It would have stopped at one if it was
Right.
perfect.
Yeah. I don't think we went to the iPhone. We still been on the music player. You hear me? And
Yeah, so
so
that's what yeah.
yeah.
So everything is constantly improving and evolving. Either you growing or you're dying, as a business, from that
I
standpoint. So
agree
either
with that.
yeah. So it's like, are you growing or are you just sitting still? You can't sit still. You at least got to take a step forward every year. Stagnation is death for a business,
Oh
because
man.
you're being outpaced. So you
So
got to keep pace.
so with that, so since you let me piggyback off that, keep pace. So since you've been doing pretty much it seems like you in the hospitality, really big in hospitality ventures.
Mhm.
And so what new hospitality venture that you're able to tell us that's coming to us from you?
Well, I alluded to, we're opening up our wine bar late winter 2025. So
That's the biggest one, right? That's the
that's the
biggest
newest
project.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have two new projects that we're going to be doing downtown Grand Rapids. That'll be maybe summer. They'll probably, one of them may open up, or both of them could open up summer 2025. So that's
Wow,
two new
bro, that's
hospitality spots.
fast.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So that
fast.
Yeah, but for me, I'm really just focused on growing, the construction management, general contracting, so when you look at like what's your vehicle to take you to, these different levels, I just really
Yeah.
feel that, for us, one, Black folks are underrepresented in the construction industry, especially from an ownership of a company standpoint, when it comes to
Okay.
scale and all the other kind of things like that. So, for us with IO, where our goal is to hit 100 million projects within the next like 5 to 6 years.